Hello there. Oh, I should have said this is the way. Oh, shoot. I'm just going to keep rolling with it.
That's okay. You get to. It's live. No, it's not.
Yeah, no, it's not.
It feels like it's
keep
live.
rolling with it anyway.
Okay.
My name is Mark the Canadian, and this is episode 58 of Holocron Chronicles, completely gone off the rails already. That voice you already heard is my trusty co-pilot and the best co-pilot in all the galaxy, Charlie Carden. Charlie,
Woo!
How you doing?
Back from the seas of Mexico. Yes.
Yeah. How was your trip?
Oh
You
my God,
aren't
dude.
allowed to talk about it.
I'm
Or
not.
anything that you did. No, because it's Star Trek and that shit belongs on another show.
Oh,
This is Star Wars,
when do
my
we
friend.
get that rule?
Uh,
Lame. Oh my God. Well, actually, we just, you're listening to this on Wednesday, potentially. If you travel backwards in time to Monday, my wife and I did do a 30-minute podcast about our experience here. It's crazy. Going on a themed cruise, whether it's Star Trek or it was funny, the 80s cruise followed it immediately, which was more expensive and that much more full of drunk old people. It's like 5 vacations in one. Once you get on the ship, you don't have to worry about a damn thing. You're not going to be late for anything. You can get everywhere. There's a shit ton of alcohol if that's your jam. If it's not, being on like a theme cruise means there's programming, activities, panels, comedy, performances. You're going to Mexico. You don't have to get off the boat if you don't want to. A couple times we probably shouldn't have, but no, it's a good time. It was a good time. It was wild.
Excellent. It was great. Yeah, seeing pictures and hearing you run into like celebrities and stuff. That was really,
it was awesome.
really neat.
Awesome.
It sounded like a
Loved
good time. If you don't mind being stuck on a metal tube in the ocean surrounded by Star Trek people,
Whatever. Worked for me.
because that sounds like torture for a Star Wars fan. Joking. That's I have to get my Star Trek digs. You know, it's
ever.
just
Yeah. Well, you know what?
this is the way.
After you watch that first episode of Lower Decks, which you promised me, then we'll come back and talk. But you know what?
I promise I'll give you an upper decker one of these days.
Promises. Yes, I believe it when
absolutely.
I see it.
I really got to get on that. But we're rambling a little, and we have two guests to introduce. The first one is a returning guest, AlliGraz. Alex, how you doing?
I am good. I'm so excited to be back. I just realized the last time I was here, Charlie was away. So
What?
Really?
That's
yeah,
why.
it was just me and Mark. So
That's
this
why
is my first podcast with Charlie. So I'm very excited.
I had said, like, I had seen Alli on Twitter, and I'm like, do we know her? She's like, you've been on the show. And I'm like, she's been on the show? Not with me. So basically, if I wasn't here, it didn't happen. So that's okay.
I thought Charlie was just having a senior moment.
Hole in the space-time continuum, but that's awesome. Yes, no, I follow your stuff on Twitter. You are the source of great amusement, which I mean is a compliment.
And great chaos. My problem is anytime
chaos.
I think a thought, it immediately has to be tweeted. And
I don't have drafts.
I
I'm
don't
the same
think
way.
like,
yeah.
should I tweet this? I'm like, no, this has to be shared with the world, no matter what it is.
Yep.
It has to be put out there into the zeitgeist. Make it happen.
That is me to a T. I see people that are like, yeah, this is from my drafts 3 months ago. I'm like, what the hell's a draft?
Yeah.
You guys just in that stream of consciousness on Twitter? That's
I'm always
foreign
thinking. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I also have to mention that. So the last time you were on, we talked about the Mandalore plot episode, or the arc from Clone Wars. So that was back in May, and I thought it was pretty fitting for the first bit of Mandalorian.
And I just got my Mandalore Obi Funko today.
Fantastic.
Ooh, awesome.
That is
it's already
awesome
up on my
well.
wall of like Obies. He's at the very, very top.
He's the king.
He's ruling over them all.
That's where he deserves to be, I think. That's such an awesome Funko figure. But I have to introduce our other guest before we go any further. And this is Mr. MattReactz. Matt, thank you for joining us. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited to be a new guest on your podcast. I've done my fair share of hosting my own, and I'm excited to be a guest.
Well, great news. We're fantastic. In case you didn't know.
Yeah, I've watched a few of yours. So.
And people actually tune into this one.
Okay. Thanks.
Oh, wait a second.
All right, is that what we're doing?
Shots fired.
Ready. For anyone unaware that doesn't follow the two of you on Twitter, you guys are like both the most adorable couple and the most hilarious couple ever, because Matt will tweet these like wonderful, sweet little things, and then Alex comes back with that sort of shenanigans, and
they're a couple of coconuts. My goodness, clonk clonk.
Yeah. So we are going to get to know you guys a little bit more, especially Matt, since he hasn't been on the show. We're going to go through the usual questions and all that kind of stuff and find out a little bit more about your Star Wars origin story. But first off, I have to give a little Patreon plug. We have a Patreon page.
You see,
going over at it.
There you go.
Yeah,
stumbling.
I know. There we go. Patreon.com/Secret Friends Unite. We are lucky enough to have a few people in the BFF Best Friends category. Sean Nias, Henry, and Stella are awesome supporters, as well as Missy, who you should know from over on Holocron Chronicles.
Sure should.
What other kind of fun stuff happens over there, Charlie?
Over on, I assume you mean Code 47? Because you said Holocron Chronicles, which is the show we're on.
Did I? Okay, yeah.
I hate it when that happens. That's where we talk about Star Trek all the time. Actually, over on Patreon, Missy just joined me for a recording where she's a talent on our network as well. She gets a lot of amazing interviews for us. We've talked to Doug Jones. We've talked to Tara Rosling. We recently talked to a guy named Dave Barkley, who is a puppeteer who ran 1/8 of Jabba the Hutt's. He ran his arm and his tail. And he's a guy who's been a puppeteer who's worked on, he worked on Labyrinth, he worked on Little Shop of Horrors, he worked on The Dark Crystal, he worked on Fraggle Rock. So that's part of our interview segment, which comes out about once a month, exclusive for Patreon listeners. So that's a good reason enough to go over and check out that special content. Plus, Missy joined me for my Facts of Geek Life show, where we talked about the first part of the first season of the 80s sci-fi classic Quantum Leap. We talk about older shows there and just to kind of have a good time doing that. So, but that is all for our Patreon. So why don't you be one? What are you waiting for? Get clicking, make it happen.
Exactly. So aside from Missy and the Nice family, I also have to thank our Best Bud tier supporter, Jamie Prinkley, and all the other supporters as well from any tier. We appreciate everything, whether you're Friend Zone, Friends with Benefits, Best Buds, or BFFs. We appreciate all the support and love we see over on Patreon.
My favorite new friend zone is my Uncle Tim. He's my mother's oldest brother. Sent me a $24 check so that he could be at the $2 level for a year. And I'm like, aw. I think he's the first member of any of our families who's put up some money. So that's pretty happy about
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, for
awesome.
Sure. That's really, really cool. Yeah, we've got some people that it's cool to see like people that we don't really know, like that aren't vocal on like Discord or Facebook or
just pop up,
that kind of stuff, that just like they've got to listen to the show. They're, found us somehow and they pop up. So if you do support us and you're listening, reach out. We'd love to hear from you.
Please
and say thank you and kind of like, find out how long you've been listening and what you like and all that kind of stuff, so we can make stuff better for you. But with all that said, with all that out of the way, I want to learn more about Matt. So Matt, before I get into your Star Wars origin, you mentioned you have done Star Wars podcasting before. So tell a little bit about like what you do in the Star Wars content creation space.
Well, when I first started my YouTube channel, I still do it, but not as often as I would like. I do a lot of like reviews on like merchandise, like lightsabers and helmets and stuff like that, stuff that I collect. And the podcast that I started, it's actually called Matt Talks with a Z. I started that on the road to Star Wars Celebration last year.
Cool.
So I would just get people on and just talk about like the movies and like just the shows and everything just leading up to the Kenobi show. And
nice.
So I haven't done one of those in a while either. But yeah, mostly what I do in the Star Wars community is I do a lot of cosplays, unboxing, reviews, and stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Right. Your cosplays are the first thing that I saw from you, and we're always just like really, really good. Do you do like the photo editing and stuff yourself as well? Because I find that's such a big part of it is like the cosplay is great, but like you kind of go that extra step where it's not just like you dressed up as like Anakin in your kitchen, like you go to locations, or you like the photos are done up a little bit more.
If you're talking about like the lightsaber effects, I don't do that by myself. I go to someone for that.
Okay.
But yeah, I think if that's what the editing you're talking about, yeah.
Well, just the thought and stuff that you put into it a little bit more than again, like just kind of someone standing in their living room being like, "Hey, I'm Anakin Skywalker now." So you're like,
I'm Anakin Skywalker. What do you want to do?
What are you doing?
I like to go to like cool locations and not have it be in my house.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
We were gonna do a Padme and Anakin one this past week when I was in Arizona because I had my Padme Geonosis outfit, and we were gonna do it when we were headed from Tucson to Phoenix on Saturday, because at some point we'd be in the middle of nowhere in the desert. And of course, I was sick as a dog and like could not stand, so we didn't get to do that. But
disappointing.
We'll do it here on there's a beach here that's like totally ungroomed and kind of looks like a desert. So
there you go.
That'll work.
You know, the wonders of Photoshop. You'll get it sorted one way or the other.
Look forward to seeing it. That's great.
Nice. Awesome.
So how did you get into Star Wars first?
I pretty much like grew up with it. When I would say about 5 or 6, I was shown the movies for the first time by my uncle and my dad. And I can't quite remember if I watched the originals or the prequels first, but I do like remember being a huge fan of the prequels, more so than the originals. Like I would like get all the action figures and the plastic toy lightsabers, like the retractable ones, and like fight with my family and like, you know, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I pretty much grew up with it like that, and then but I didn't really like get back into it, like super back into it, until like a few years ago, like 2020, I would say. It was honestly like during like the peak of COVID, because like I started watching the movies again and stuff. So yeah, and then like I don't know,
that seems to be like a common thing.
Yeah, we've had more than one person on who was a complete noob to Star Wars saying, well, during COVID, I finally said, you know, it's time to finally watch Star Wars for the first time in my whole life, and I'm in my 20s or whatever, and then
or got back into it. Like,
now I'm a content creator and I do a podcast every week.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, it seems fun to make a YouTube channel too. So just talk about like what you like and enjoy doing it, and so I don't know, it's fun.
Did you do other YouTube stuff before Star Wars, or was that kind of your jumping point there?
I actually started with Harry Potter because I'm a huge fan of Harry Potter as well. But yeah, Harry Potter and Star Wars were like my two big things when I started my YouTube channel. I cover Star Wars more though because not a lot of Harry Potter stuff is like really coming out anymore. Kind of ended a long time ago. So, but you know, Star Wars is constantly coming out with shows and new stuff, so it's really easy to cover that.
The power of Disney.
Yeah. What Hogwarts house do you belong in?
Yeah, I was gonna say my first question.
Allie's gonna judge me, right? But
he says he's a Ravenclaw. He's a Hufflepuff.
Nailed it!
Too.
But everybody has traits from every house. Okay, like I definitely have some Hufflepuff traits. But
you said you used to be a Hufflepuff, and then when you retook the test, it said
Ravenclaw.
She's right. And I think you must have lied somewhere.
What is that?
You're
like
a Hufflepuff at heart.
That's like the Hogwarts like SATs or something. What's this test I hear about? Gotcha.
It's like the online sorting test. And Alex, I'm going to assume that you're a Slytherin based on that reaction. Is that?
I honestly feel like I should be, but I'm a Ravenclaw, which also makes a lot of sense.
That stacks.
She was probably like one question away from being a Slytherin.
Yeah, that's
oh boy. The Slytherin extra credit question.
It's because I love literature too much, and that's like that just overpowers.
Yeah,
right. The power of books, like getting hit by a book. Bonk. Big dictionary.
Matt, you mentioned you liked back then. You liked the prequels a little bit more than the originals. Do you have a favorite Star Wars thing now? Has that changed at all? Like, what's your favorite like movie or series? Like, what's Star Wars to you? Like your comfort?
It's honestly stayed the same. My favorite has always been the Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. Just because I mean I feel like it's a lot of people's favorite, but it's just so jammed packed with with stuff, and it's so action packed, and it's a crucial movie to the storyline, and it's kind of like the turning point of everything. So
Right.
I don't know.
Big
I've always
pivot.
been a huge fan of that movie.
Nice.
I would say that's my
Yeah,
favorite.
I can't argue with an hour-long sword fight scene. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
you just
All
can't.
the
You just-
all the
yeah,
swords. Yes, indeed.
friggin' amazing. Favorite character?
It might be kind of obvious, but it's Anakin. Oh, it's kind of a tie between Anakin and Ahsoka. They're both my favorite
Oh,
characters.
all right.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was gonna say you have a tattoo.
Yeah, I have a
Both.
tattoo. It's like half the face is Vader with a broken mask, with like showing his eye, and then the other half is Ahsoka. So.
Oh,
Nice.
and they're hugging. I love
No.
it. Oh,
But yeah, those are my two favorite characters.
Sith Jedi, hug it out.
Amazing. Alex, I did mention, I meant to mention this, but I've changed some of these questions. So if there's one that you're like, I don't think I answered that, jump in, if your answer from the first time maybe has changed or something, or you just want to jump in, feel free. But Matt, I do have to ask, based on your answer for your favorite character, I don't know how you're going to go with this one. Light side or dark side?
Light meat or dark meat?
To be honest, I see myself more as a light side user. Just
good.
because I'm like, I feel like I'm a really patient person, and I'm kind. Alli, don't say anything.
I was just going to chime in and say you kind of have to be to deal with this one, but
Easy there, Mark.
Actually, I was literally thinking the other day. I was like, he is so patient and kind, and that is the reason that it works.
But yeah, I see. If I'm
There you go.
gonna be honest, I'm probably be light side more than a dark side.
all right, good.
I'm not that evil.
Now you one of those people that's like light side, but I also want force lightning. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, dark side can
like
come out
9 times out
sometimes.
of 10. It's like
Is that like a la carte, like on the side you get fries, hash browns, side of force lightning,
yeah.
maybe
like
eggs
a
over
buffet.
easy, sourdough. I don't know.
Just a little force lightning as a treat.
Yeah,
It's
on the
a tiny
side.
bit. It's like
On
a
the
side
side.
of gravy for your fries or something.
Yeah.
So,
Oh well, that's very Canadian. But we dump everything in ranch in the Midwest. So
Ranch. The fuck?
ranch for it. Yeah, exactly. Ranch force lightning.
Alli hates ranch.
Jersey, I hate ranch so much.
Yeah.
Jersey's
Yeah.
with gravy on their fries, though.
Yeah, thank you. There.
Gravy
See,
and
it's not
cheese, and we
crazy.
call them disco fries.
Ooh, whoa, disco like Discovery.
Disco fries.
That's a Star Trek thing.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah,
All right.
like Travolta.
The gravy that's like a East Coast thing. That's just like
I'll bet.
follow
Yeah,
the toast right
you
down.
Canadians
So-
are dribbling that gravy down the East Coast. Blah, 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 blah.
That's how it works. That's how it works. What's your favorite lightsaber color of choice?
Green. I love green lightsabers.
Green.
Mhm.
Yes. All right.
I like
Fellow
green.
Green lightsaber.
You too, or-
All right. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. 100% green. That's
Yeah.
always been my favorite since like the first time I watched the movies. As soon as I saw Return of the Jedi, Luke flips out with his green lightsaber. I'm like, yep, that's the one. Let's go.
Yeah.
The one I built in Galaxy's Edge was green. It was like that's my go-to is green.
Same here.
Yep. Awesome.
Green gang.
The Green
Green.
Gang. Yes.
The Green Gang.
I
Gang
really,
green.
well,
Oh, Green Gang.
I really figured you'd be going blue or potentially white based on your two favorite characters. So green's
Yeah, I know, it's
a
weird,
bit of
right?
left field. That's a good one. Yeah, I like it. This is a new one. So Alex, if you want to answer this one as well, but what's your favorite lightsaber design in all of Star Wars? Like if you could have someone's lightsaber, like mine would be Gungi. I love that
Gungi.
design. I love it. It's so good. So yeah, do you have a favorite lightsaber design?
I have like a few. Matt, you go first. I gotta think about this for a second.
You're probably gonna be surprised by this answer too. My favorite is actually Luke's from Episode 6 for Return of the Jedi. So his green saber.
Yeah.
For some reason, I've always liked that hilt, and I think it's like part of it is because I like the thin neck design. Like I like Obi-Wan's
Yep.
lightsaber too. I think his looks really cool because it's really similar to Luke's.
Mhm. Very.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I just really like that hilt design.
I love it too. That's like the only Hasbro saber I have. It's just up there. It's since like I've had that one for years. It's seen better days, but it's still like it's just kind of like up on a shelf. I love it.
I do have a second favorite. Can I mention that one too?
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
would say my second favorite is probably Cal Kestis's lightsaber.
Oh hell yes.
Yeah.
Still damaged or like double ended?
Still damaged. I love the damaged look. Yeah,
Yep.
it's so sick.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'd love a replica Cal Kestis saber. Like I was kind of disappointed by the one in Galaxy's Edge.
It's so huge. God.
It's huge, but I also wanted them to go orange. I wanted them to do something different, and they just turned it out with like blue, which is fine, but like
a little too vanilla.
For me, when like the special pre-order bonus for the game was an orange lightsaber color, so I kind of like. My headcanon was like, that's the special one. That one stands out, and that's like Cal's color, right? So, like,
signature
for
color.
me, I was like, do something different. Let's introduce like orange to official canon. Get that in the Disney parks. So when they came out with like blue, I was like, I get it, but kind of boring. Like, give Cal something friggin' neat. Yeah. So that's if I did, I'd probably go with like one from a replica saber site, so I could make it orange all the time.
Yeah, I actually have a Cal Kestis replica. It's just not installed. It's just an empty hilt right now. I forget I have it sometimes because it just sits there. Like, but yeah, it's really cool.
Such a great design.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that new game so much.
Too.
It's gonna be great.
Me too.
Yeah. Alex.
So, for the longest time, mine was Leia's.
It's not anymore? What the hell?
Lately, I feel like, okay, this is like, I was literally thinking about this as I was putting together my saber that just died. As I was putting the hilt in, I was like thinking about which saber is my favorite, because like, I feel like I'm shying away from Leia's. I think I'm just, I don't know. Right now, I guess it's still Leia's and Obi's. But I feel like I need to look into like the High Republic hilts.
Ooh, yeah.
Because those definitely seem more my style. Like I love the whole look of the High Republic era. So I feel like I gotta look into that. So for now I'm gonna say Leia's, but I'm sure within the next week there'll be some High Republic hilt that I'm like, yes, this is the one.
And I just did a Patreon episode about Gungi and his lightsaber, but I also mentioned Buryaga, who's the High Republic Wookiee, and his lightsaber, which was like designed after Excalibur and is one of the only crossguard lightsabers that's not like a lit crossguard. It's just like a flared up metal crossguard. I friggin' love that design. They do lightsabers right in the High Republic. They're such a statement piece.
Yes, the High Republic era in general, it was just like the fashion. Like these Jedi were so fashionable.
Yeah, they change out lightsabers like you change out a watch strap. It's like
literally,
and then you get that like the original trilogy and stuff, and like people are like your lightsaber's your lifeline, but like back then they were just like I'm feeling blue today, I'm feeling green, like I'm just it's like mixing it up. Charlie, I don't think I've asked you this question because it was a new question that I think I just made up last week. So I'm curious.
My God, I don't spend any time thinking about that kind of stuff. I will tell you now, Mark, I did mention that the Star Trek cruise for next year is porting out of Port Canaveral, Orlando. We're going to go to Galaxy's Edge. So potentially, much like, you're a Jedi youngling visiting Ilum, perhaps my style is yet to be discovered upon those sandy shores, the rocky crags that are, what is it, Batu, the village there. So I'm gonna reserve an answer for 12 months. I'm gonna put a pin in that, a little moratorium, and we'll be talking about that next March, because I will have an answer. I feel like I'll discover it at that time.
I like it. That's decent. I mean, when I built mine, again, I was inspired by both Gungi and Tenel Ka, who's a Legends character, one of Luke's students, and she built hers out of a Rancor tooth. The first one she built, there was a crack in the Rancor tooth that exploded. She lost her arm, and unlike Luke was like, "Hey, we can hook it up with a prosthetic," and she was like, "F that noise! I'm one arm now, and I'm still badass." And I always loved that. So Rancor tooth on my saber,
it's actually really cool.
Plus the wood, yeah, that's freaking awesome.
I like it.
Look up Tenel Ka; she's crazy. All right. Favorite affiliation, Matt. This could be, and I don't think, Alex, I don't think this was a question when you were on either. So this can be anything. If you were in Star Wars for a day, who would you want to hang out with?
Hondo Ohnaka.
Hell yeah. Space pirate.
Easy.
And that's one of my examples. I was going to say like Jedi, Sith, bounty hunters, space pirates, rebels.
Star Wars Captain Jack Sparrow. There you go.
100%.
I'm getting so
Hondo.
drunk and causing so much chaos with
But
Hondo.
you have heard of me.
We're gonna make so many enemies.
When I went again at Galaxy's Edge and saw Hondo like in real life, I lost it and no one else did. And I was there 2 weeks after it
There
opened.
is a video of me. I have it, but somebody also tweeted it of me seeing animatronic live Hondo.
Yeah.
And I was speechless. I just sat there like
Yeah, I had the same kind of I was like, oh my God. And no one else, like, it's 2 weeks after it opened. I figured there's going to be massive Star Wars fans there still. But like, no, they were all day one. I was like freaking out and nobody else like gave anywhere close to 2 shits. And it was just like so disappointing.
Not
but
even
I was
a
very
quarter
excited.
of one shit. Ain't happening.
No. So Matt, what about you? You hanging with the Space Pirates or you going somewhere else?
So this question's like who you would want to hang out with or who you would want to like be.
Yeah.
Okay.
However you want to take it.
Say
if there's 2 answers,
affiliations,
give us
that's
2
probably
answers.
hanging.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I didn't think about that other part, hanging out with somebody. But if I was like to be in the world of Star Wars, I know it's gonna sound basic, but I would want to be a Jedi.
So basic.
Well, because it's like who wouldn't want force powers? Like who wouldn't want a lightsaber?
I'd want to. Anyone would. Like I want to be a Jedi too. I'd be more of like a Quinlan Voss type Jedi, where like we're not sure how he even made it. We're not sure how he became a Jedi, like how he didn't get kicked out, and honestly what he does with his free time, but he's there.
Yep.
He's like, is he like the Matthew McConaughey of Jedi? You know?
It's just...
All right.
I do have a second part though to that. Because I just thought about it a little bit. If I was to hang out with somebody, this is gonna be ironic again, but it would be Anakin because he doesn't always follow the rules, and I feel like it'd be really fun to hang out with him because he'd be like doing like spontaneous bad things, I guess, going off track. So yeah, I think I'd like to hang out with him.
That is why I love episode 2 so much, especially that opening, because it's just Anakin and Obi-Wan as brothers, not as like the father and son relationship that you would have gotten with Qui-Gon. It's like, hey, I'm going to do this stupid thing. I'm going to yeet myself out a window. I'm going to jump out of a car and land on another car 200 feet below. Like, it's just constantly doing the dumbest shit possible. And I would 100%. It's like Jackass in space with laser swords. Like, count me in. I love that answer.
Yeah.
I'm going to shoot this Sith in the nuts with a cannonball. Boom!
Yeah. It's great stuff. It's great stuff. That is really good. Okay. Last question. Another new one. I'll get an answer from both of you. Since Star Wars is basically just constant suffering and tragedy wrapped in like cool laser swords and really nice ponchos, if you were in the Star Wars universe, what hilarious and stupid way would you end up dying? So mine is 100%. I'd see like a Rancor or something. I'd be like, pretty puppy, come here. And I'd be like, try to pet it and just get torn to shreds. Because that would happen to me in real life.
I feel like that would almost happen to Alli because she just loves animals so much.
Yeah.
Oh, pointy kitty, and it's like a possum.
Well, I seriously tried to like pet a raccoon this weekend, and it hissed at me. And my wife was like, just don't do that. And then I went after the wolves, and she was like, don't jump the fence. I can see you want to jump the fence. And I was like, they're big puppies. I want to touch them.
I can tame them. It's like
exactly.
I can fix him, but for wild animals.
That's
right.
Yeah,
wild hearts can be broken or can't or whatever. Tame that heart. You got it.
So that's mine. You can copy that if you would like, Alex. But what hilarious way would you guys die?
It honestly would depend on what era I'm in. I've thought about this. Like if it was the prequel era, I'm dying in Order 66 because I would think that the clones were just kidding. I'd be like, yeah, funny guys.
I'm only kidding.
And
like
then
Fred
they would
Armisen
like
from
shoot me in
SNL.
the face. Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, guys.
All right. I like that trusting nature.
All right, joke's over now.
All right. Yeah. Oh, my face. I needed that.
If it's like the original trilogy era, I'm definitely like I'm definitely at a bar. I'm like at a cantina. I got way too drunk and I picked a fight with Darth Vader. I'm like, come on, Vader. Like, I could take this guy, guys. Come on, I can take him. And
I've had 7 space rums, and I am gonna fight that asthmatic.
Literally, I'm like drunk off Java juice. I'm like, I'm gonna fight the Emperor.
Yeah,
I'm
wants to
Darth
fight?
Vader. I'm gonna take a bolt right now.
Yeah. Come on, you asthmatic robot, bring it on!
Come on, it's gonna be like that old Eddie Murphy routine. Come on, that's the way I like it.
Solid stuff. Matt, top a drunk fight Darth Vader or what?
Well, I was actually talking to Alli about this earlier today, and without me even like giving any of my input, she just threw out there. She's like, Matt, you would just trip and fall and like accidentally ignite your lightsaber and kill yourself. And I was like, dude, you're so right. Like that's something I would totally do. So as simple as that. Like
you can't even put a safety guard.
Yeah, just fall on like the ignition button.
Is this thing on?
Yeah.
Like
Luke.
Yeah. Say like if Luke, yeah, straight in. Look. Yeah.
Simple as that.
That's a good simple one. It's honest. I like it.
And there's Darwinism even in a galaxy far, far away.
Honestly, so that was my answer as well. Honestly, was before my wife came up with you'd probably pet some sort of deadly space animal and get yourself ripped to shreds. My first answer was I'd look into a lightsaber and ignite it and just done.
Right. Like looking in the barrel of a shotgun. How does this thing work?
So I understand that one. Like I said, my wife gave me the I think better answer and more realistic one that I'd jump a fence at some sort of space zoo and be like, "Come here,
space,"
and
come here, pretty puppy.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, would definitely happen. So that's kind of it. I'm glad we got to know you a bit more, Matt, and a few more answers from Alex. That was great introduction. Hopefully people know you a little bit better. There's no real news this week, so I think we're going to jump right into Mando.
Schmando.
Back, baby.
Mando's back, baby.
We've got the first 2 episodes of The Mandalorian, season 3. Charlie, fixing your microphone. You want to introduce us to the first episode
wonky
here?
I'd love to. Give me just a second here. This thing is, new studio, new setup, whatever it is. Okay, this is the apostate, the prostrate. He probably had to see a doctor about that. Looks like it was directed by Rick Fayu. Okay, don't Rick F. And written by John.
He's
been what's the name?
Both Famuyima.
Yeah, exactly. It was on the tip of my tongue. Written by Jon Favreau. The armor and a group of Mandalorians are having a ceremony to induct a young child into the tribe when, you can't make this up, a dinosaur turtle interrupts and attacks them. They fight back, are soon overpowered, and Mando shows up in his basically midlife crisis vehicle that he's driving around in these days. Grogu's there with him. It says it has chosen to stay with him, but you know what? You watched Boba Fett. You knew he was going to be all up in there. The armorer is still giving him shit, tells him he's got to go to the Mines of Mandalore so that he can get right with Jesus. So he goes to Navarro to hook up with Apollo Creed, who is now the big boss. Din helps Karga stave off some pirates, random pirates. And doesn't the one guy look like Swamp Thing, or basically like he kind of looks like a vegetarian pizza? I don't know. It's a weird look.
Davy Jones.
So yeah, exactly.
Old Greg mated with Davy Jones.
Old Greg. I don't
know if Matt gets that reference. I don't know if Matt knows who Old Greg is.
I don't.
Oh, I'll send you some videos.
He doesn't know any pop culture, and it's so much fun. I get to show him a whole new world.
A whole new world. That's kind of where they're going with
There's
this.
things I just haven't told him yet for his own mental health.
It's like, a little bit too much.
Like I don't know how or where to begin with Trisha Paytas, so like he just doesn't have to know she exists yet, or just any of the YouTube community. I'll protect him from
I don't know who
2000 and.
I don't know that I know who it is.
Good, I'm protecting you all.
But at any rate, so
if you Google it,
I'm good.
You will just end up in it. You won't sleep tonight.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Whoa. Okay, so back talking about the episode. So Mando tries to pull apart the melted statue of IG-88 and rebuild him. He can't do it. Then the little critter from episode 9 shows up. Help me out here. My wife loves him. I bought her a pop of it.
I just call him the babu freak species.
Babu frick. There you go.
Frick.
A bunch of babu fricks. And Grogu wants to eat one, and then what they finally figure out is that they can't fix him. So Mando's going to take off. He jumps back in his midlife crisis mobile. The pirates try to kill him once he leaves the orbit of the planet, and of course Mando defeats him. Shows up where Bo-Katan or Bo-Katan is on in her old Mandalorian castle, and she's having a bad day. She's been drinking or whatever, and she's like, whatever, bro, you'll never go back to Mandalore. It's all totally disastered or whatever.
That's the pose.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got to watch the video version. We've got the perfect pose in there. You just need the helmet.
I mean, was she wasted or high? Because she was like, bro,
who just sits like that waiting for someone?
She was in a panic. She saw him coming, and she's like, "How does a person sit?
Shit.
How does normal people sit?" Okay.
She's swiping like Chinese takeout containers into the trash. Clean up.
Look casual.
Yeah. Quick. Yes. Mando's coming. Look busy. So she's given up her plans to reclaim Mandalore and tells Din Djarin basically to piss up a rope. Like, I'm not going to help you out. You're out of here. And that's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
So that was an episode of The Mandalorian.
So before we jump in, because we'll go through kind of both episodes as a pair a little bit for most of this stuff, but I do want to touch on something that Charlie mentioned, which is you saw it in Book of Boba Fett. So how do you guys feel about the Book of Boba Fett now being, at least a couple of episodes, being essential viewing? Like, they really glossed over it. It was like you are expected to watch those Mandalorian episodes of Book of Boba Fett. I think most of us kind of did, but I know some people who watched the first couple episodes were like, this isn't going where I want it to go. I'm out. And they missed those. And it's now kind of like, I mean, where did Grogu come from? Did it hurt it?
Like, yeah.
What happened? Like, so do you guys think they marketed it right? Do you think they should have had like a little recap, like previously on Book of Boba Fett?
Oh, totally.
Yeah, they're back together now. Like,
or just really previously on in general, because again, Mando's, kind of hijacking a couple episodes of the Book of Boba Fett kind of gives you this real shared universe vibe. It's like, yeah, we're pulling you away from Boba Fett, but we're telling the big story, the big Star Wars story of this time frame. You know what I mean? So it's not just inclusive of Boba Fett and what he's got going on. We're going to toss Mando in there and, blah. And so, yes, it was expected that the majority of people, and maybe it was the case, maybe it wasn't. I mean, I'm sure you will see on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever it is, people railing against what the hell Grogu's doing there, because at the end of the last episode he left. It's like, who doesn't know, right? It's like, you feel like people who watch this stuff do watch everything. I watch everything, but I mean, we do the show, but even if we didn't, I wouldn't be like, I just don't have time to watch Star Wars or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like it's casual fans that missed it, because I don't know, there's people out there that don't watch every single thing of Star Wars. And I feel like there's, no offense to anybody, but like, I feel like there's some people out there that just watch The Mandalorian because they think Grogu is like cute. So I think that's
like basically everybody's wife, including mine.
Grogu capitalism.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was having this argument with Todd, our other cosplay husband, who I rip on every episode, and he's like, well, I just can't figure out why they don't grow. He's 50. Shouldn't he be starting to talk shit? I'm like, dude, whether you like it or you're not,
he kind of is.
Disney is making money sideways out their ass, upside down, backwards, selling Grogu. So you think they really need to mess with that? He's gonna just be a baby for as long as they need him to be a baby, because Grogu prints money. Why do you think he's green? Think it through.
Well,
Boom,
we know
Grogu bucks. Hashtag Grogu bucks.
The only problem with that is we know that Yoda was teaching younglings when he was 100.
Now, what's our source on that? Because I guess I'm not hip to it. I know that in the High Republic, he was at least maybe
he
600,
said
650.
Because
I thought
800 years or for whatever it was. He said something
there you
for
go.
this many years I've been
Right.
training Jedi and whatever the fuck he said. So that's directly from him. That's
I don't think it's fair to compare Grogu at 50 to Yoda at 100. It's like when your mom compares like you and your
Yeah.
sibling. It's like, you know, some 24-year-olds are married with children. My best friend is married with a baby on the way. I'm doing a Star Wars podcast. Like
That's true. I guess.
Grogu can't
life is
speak
different
yet,
pursuits.
and Yoda was teaching younglings. Like
Maybe Grogu doesn't speak, and maybe he's like a Gary Coleman of Yoda species. I don't know. Maybe he's not going to get any bigger. I'm just saying. Maybe he's Benjamin Button. I don't know. He's aging backwards. I just, yeah, it's just people like Todd are just trying to find ways to hate Star Wars. Todd, I love you, but you hate Star Wars. Stop talking about Star Wars.
Also, Yoda was there like the whole time, like being trained and stuff, like in the Jedi Council,
True.
and then Grogu like left.
They taught him to speak.
They
taught him to speak backwards. He took that elective. Where everyone else, because you can tell, because Yaddle, who's Bryce Dallas Howard, and talks like a normal person, and Yoda's doing this like California speak where he's like, just knock it off.
maybe he does a spot on Yoda impression.
That was really good.
He was literally doing it the other day while we were mini golfing, and it was I was speechless.
Slice it, Will.
And of course you must.
Yes. That was fantastic. I still think that Yoda got kicked in the head by a space horse.
Yeah, maybe
and just started talking
maybe
backwards.
he had a stroke or
dropped on the
something.
head or
I don't
something.
know.
I think he could have had a stroke. That could, yeah, exactly. Battle damage.
He was
Battle
like
damage.
800 years old. I mean,
And maybe Grogu doesn't speak because it's PTSD. Could be. I mean, I think
his first
fairly
word
valid.
this season. I think
He's going to say,
"Daddy." Dada. Yeah.
Dada.
We'll
he's
see
gonna
that.
say, subscribe to Disney Plus.
Oh my god.
He said, please like and subscribe and leave a comment.
How much would it absolutely kill Din if his first word was "mama" and he was looking at Bo-Katan or Kelly?
Oh,
That's when he punched him.
we belong together. There you go.
You just see Din like just a single tear fall from underneath the helmet. That'd be amazing.
I'm chucking this helmet. Kiss me, Bo Karen.
Yeah.
Bo Karen.
Okay. All right, Charlie. Second episode.
You got it. So Din is hanging out with Auntie Paula back there on Tatooine during Boonta Eve. So there's fireworks and all that kind of different cool stuff. And pod racers going by Fan Service 101. She doesn't have a chip for IG-11. I guess he crammed all the parts in the bottom of his ship. That ship's got a lot of storage. That's great. It must be like, I've owned cars where the trunk's like, how the hell big is this trunk? My little Chrysler 200, biggest trunk of any car I've ever had. No room to sit inside. It's a Civic hatchback. I love it. Good stuff. So she ends up selling him R5D4, who's like an OG droid. He's the one that, that couldn't get sold to Owen Lars back in episode 4.
Whoa.
What? Yeah.
Couldn't get sold. He nobly sacrificed himself.
This is true. I have heard this potentially non-canon take.
No.
Regardless.
Yeah.
Nah, brah. So anyway, the fabulous trilogy of Din and Grogu and R5 fly to Mandalore at long last, and they send in our R5 like the canary in a coal mine to make sure they can breathe down there. And R5 doesn't come back, and Din goes on, and he gets attacked by the friggin' Morlocks from H.G. Wells' Time Machine. I don't know how they got there. And they find out that the air is fine, which it doesn't make a difference because, Din wouldn't take his helm off anyway. But Din gets down that he does this really cool fly down thing where you see the ruins of Mandalore and a big underground this thing and that thing. And he lands and he gets captured by this big clam trap, droid thing. But of course, Grogu gets away, getting chased by a space lizard with wings. It's a whole thing. Jumps in the ship, somehow figure out pushes a couple of buttons. The ship flies back to Bo Karen. She's like, all right, cool. I don't understand what you're saying, but I will follow you back to save Din. And she does. He escapes, but he finally reaches the living waters. But I was listening to some podcast today that says, how does he manage to not always fuck things up for himself. He takes 2 steps and then he falls through the abyss of the water, like 5,000 feet down.
Yeah, I didn't get that because Bo-Katan just used her jetpack to go get him. Why didn't he just turn his jetpack on as he was sinking? Like, I get the armor's
took it
heavy
off.
and you couldn't swim.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Because he was doing that thing. Like if you ever watched the old TV show Chips, anytime those guys had to jump in to save somebody, they took their shoes off and they were tucking their shit in and take your keys out of your wallet.
Why
He
didn't
only took off a couple of things. Do you ever swim in jeans? Like that's enough. Like why are you swimming in armor?
He didn't think that one
swimming
through.
in armor.
He either needed to keep the jetpack on or just strip down like everything so he could swim. Like
everything but his helmet. He's just
Nothing
wearing,
but a helmet,
he's wearing
baby.
a Speedo
Never
and
taking
his
it off.
helmet. Oh my God! Yeah, you don't want to picture it. So she sinks down and she grabs him, and as she's flying back up, she sees the honest to fucking God Mythosaur, the mythic, Mythosaur, great name, Mythosaur, the mythic creature that is the basis of the giant signet that is the Mandalorian society. Gets him back up to the top, and then that's the end. So the Mythosaur is real. Living waters are a thing. I guess he's good now, even though he still found a way to fuck it up. Swinking down. I mean, he just really cannot do anything right. He is a massive screw up, but we do love him, and Grogu loves him, and that's why. The end.
Big himbo energy, 100%. Like he just does
he's
no
a
thoughts
male
behind that helmet.
Himbo. He's a himbo.
He just does. He's a golden
big dummy.
retriever.
He's
gonna chase. He's gonna chase the car. He doesn't know what he's gonna do when he catches it.
I had a golden retriever growing up, so that touches me. I love it. So that's it.
What did you guys think? I guess first off, of overall these 2 episodes, Matt, what were your thoughts? Like, actually, you know what? I'll jump in first to give you guys a little bit of time to process the 2 of them together. I really expected them to kind of F around a little longer. Like I expected a little bit more to, like maybe they'd hit Mandalore halfway through the season or something like that, right, or kind of at the end. Like they just instantly went there. I expected a big like Mythosaur at the end kind of thing, or like something happened. And like we kind of saw that was going to come, but like,
right,
2 episodes in, that's what we're getting. Like, where the hell else are they going with this? This is amazing. So what did you guys think of like 2 episodes in and we're just like finding out?
Yeah,
go ahead, please.
Okay. Like you said, like I definitely noticed like the change of pace with these episodes in this season compared to the previous. Because there were like points where like I thought it was going to end, but it kept going. I was like, oh, okay. Like it just like I don't know. It was like super. It's going straight to the point, which I really like. No filler really stuff. And I think the first episode, I was kind of disappointed with it after it first came out, but then like now I'm kind of liking it more. Yeah, I don't know. Like it's starting to. I think it's gonna be a good season. Like I'm really excited for the rest of it because everything's moving so fast. So I'm excited. Makes me excited.
Yeah. It's like I mean, I really expect them to stick on the space pirates a little bit more, and they were like, yeah, we'll shelve, Salad the Hut or whatever, and like go to
right. No, he was definitely Garden Salad the Hut, I would say. Yeah,
and like go straight to Mythosaur. Alex, what did you think?
I am genuinely surprised by how fast-paced this was. The first thing in my mind is how is Din going to prove that he bathed in the living waters? Is he going to like take a little and take a selfie? Like, how is he?
For real? What the heck?
Him and Bo just like
videotape me.
Yeah, is there a Star Wars Instagram? There's got to be.
Literally.
Insta Wars or whatever. IW.
True.
But yeah, I'm really curious as to where I'm very, very excited, and I'm really curious as to where this season's gonna go. Are we gonna get more Bo-Katan? I think this past episode kind of gave her some life back, and she feels like she has a purpose again. So I wonder if they'll hash that out throughout the season, and that'll be a big part of the season. I would love to see that because I personally love her. Yeah, like I don't know where they're gonna go next. Are they gonna be on Mandalore for a whole nother episode? Is he gonna be like, all right, here's my proof.
Mm.
I'm a Mandalorian again. On to the next mission. Onto my next disaster.
Yeah, right. Like it's
my next exciting adventure, as I always like to say, which is always the exact opposite.
Yeah, it is like, okay, he's got the Darksaber, so he is the ruler, the rightful ruler of Mandalore. He's bathed in the waters, so they should see him as a Mandalorian again. Like, does that instantly kind of make him like
he gotta learn how to
the
use that
ruler?
Darksaber,
Like,
though.
He's gonna trip
pathetic out there. He's like
seeing her use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna trip over. You know, he's gonna trip over a rock. His helmet will fall off, and he'll just have to do it all over again. He's that much of a fucking screw up. I'm sorry. That's what we're seeing. Oh my goodness, I do love him, but he is a dummy. What
That would be
did
me.
Lois say about? Yeah, what did Lois say about Peter and Family Guy? God, if it wasn't for that ass.
He's just Pedro Pascal.
I know,
Playing,
he's so
like,
great.
Himself.
Yep.
I did. I saw a great meme today of him riding on the horse with Ellie, and Grogu was sitting in his lap, and that's the show everybody wants to see.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep. Ollie, what about you? What did you think of these 2 episodes overall?
Oh, I thought you were asking Allie
Me
again.
too.
I'm like,
Charlie.
hello. I will admit that the pacing is kind of wild. I was kind of bored by the first episode, because it just didn't seem to have anything like, and now we're getting attacked by a Crackigator, and now I couldn't figure out watching that first segment if this is like, is this Din when he was a kid, and they're
that's what I thought,
getting him back again, but then Din shows up and blows them up, and then he goes back and he's trying to find a droid, and then there's a bunch of pirates, and it felt like all the things that you hated about season 1 and 2, just bits and pieces. Like, now I'm on a quest, every other, he was like, I'll help you do this thing, but first you got to do this thing for me, and you'll probably get killed, but if you don't, let's talk. It just felt like they kind of crammed that all into that first episode, and I was glad when it was over. And it was also really short, mercifully short, because it was like, and now that's going to be
especially for a pilot.
Then we come for basically for a season premiere.
I liked, which might be an unpopular, Matt disagrees with me. I am sick of the trend where these streaming shows, the premiere episode has to be like a movie length.
Yeah.
I'm personally not a fan of that. I mean, I liked it with Game of Thrones because there was just so much going on in Game of Thrones that it had to be at like 6 different storylines.
Right.
But
it wasn't the case here. Yeah.
Yeah, but like The Last of Us first episode being nearly 2 hours long, like, I don't know. That's just too much for me.
But we love The Last of Us so much.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
But it's becoming kind of a trend where like almost every TV show now, it's like, all right, season premiere, series premiere, it has to be like an hour and a half, 2 hours long. And I'm like, it doesn't.
Yeah. Here's a movie.
Be like 40 minutes.
Yeah, use your time. Really, they could have made The Last of Us into 10 episodes instead of 9 if they would have just spaced it out. But whatever. So I was glad when that first episode was over. It was short. I didn't really care for it. Didn't really seem to do a ton. Felt it was really redemptive in the second episode because, like you said, we're moving the plot forward. That's his entirety of goal. He accomplished it. He still managed to do it in a way that was really like, he's like Kramer, falls ass backwards into that pool. He's Star Wars' Kramer. How does this guy, I got the Darksaber and I have this really cool hot rod now. So he's got his midlife crisis mobile driving around with his kid, kind of, screwing up, getting in backwards into adventures. But anyway, he accomplished his goal for the season, which was to get righteous again. But then again, like I said, he'll trip over a rock and his helmet will fall off and he'll have to just do it all over again. But what lays beyond, right? So all the footage that we've seen, there's more space fights. We see a bunch more Mandalorians. They're teaming up. They're jumping out of a dropship. Who are they fighting? I mean, it sounds like we're getting Moffy Gideon back at some point. So that'll be great. I love explaining away. Oh, you got Cara Dune got basically a Poochie from Itchy and Scratchy kind of explanation. Oh, she went off and joined Special Forces over in the right wing of Texas. Oh, sorry. I hated to get political on you. I apologize. But yeah, that was an easy way to get rid of her ass and have it never come up again. But yeah, it was, Cara Dune died on her way back to her home planet. Whoop. Anybody who's sorry, if nobody else watches The Simpsons but me, I apologize. But yes, that was pretty perfect for me to just have her see her be gone. But at any rate,
so a little Alderaan dig because that's already gone.
Oh,
She doesn't have a home planet to go back to.
Yeah, where did she go? Oh, too soon? Alderaan too soon? Yeah, I don't know.
I did
It's
wear my
always too
Alderaan
soon.
shirt
It'll
yesterday.
be 100 years, and someone brings up
Yes.
Alderaan. You're just like, no. It's too soon.
I love that shirt because everyone, even casual fans, will look at it and be like, Alderaan, that's for Star Wars. And it's a weather forecast, and it's like Monday, Tuesday, and then there's nothing for Wednesday, Thursday.
I love that it's
50,000
like,
degrees, nothing.
I love that like Anakin's killing younglings is like always a joke, and we're always like, ha ha ha. And then someone brings up Alderaan exploding, everyone's like,
oh,
so true.
It's too much. It's too much. I'm triggered. Stop it.
Did you guys see the new trend on like TikTok or whatever going around that's like putting slap bass or songs where they don't belong? My favorite one is Anakin lighting the lightsaber in front of the younglings, and it'll be like Mississippi Queen kicks in or like a slap bass or something like that, and it's just like, what are you gonna do, Master Skywalker? Like, it's just so good.
Queen. I gotta see it.
It's great. We've talked about a lot of like characters that have shown up in this, a lot of like badass shots. I mentioned Bo-Katan, so this is going to be my favorite one. But I want to know your favorite like character moments, scenes, shots, that kind of stuff. For me, one that keeps standing out is Bo-Katan with the Darksaber, taking out that cyborg thing, seeing Din through, you know, the last episode or the season 2 of Mandalorian when he first kind of picked it, he was fighting against the Darksaber, seeing him in the Book of Boba Fett like really struggle with it, seeing him in this really struggle with it, seeing her so effortlessly take that thing out was like, holy crap, like that's hers. Like, is there, why is he still carrying this thing around? I know she, you know, they explain that finally, kind of a little bit more of like, she has to win it, blah, blah, blah. This is what happened. They think it's all cursed, blah, blah, whatever. But like, holy crap, that is hers. And she just owned every single scene she was in, from like walking off the ship to just like saving his ass. Like, just damn.
Right.
She had a presence.
Did she? I mean, could she get it on a technicality now? She saved him. She yielded it. Blah blah blah. I mean, there's got to be some kind of there's got to be some kind of judge's ruling on this shit. I mean, they're just
the Mandalorians really seem to be the kind of people to allow for technicalities.
It's funny because Mando's part of this, like, you know, the Christian Reformed Church, which is real big here in West Michigan. He's kind of part of the CRC of Mandalore, and the rest of the Mandalorians still have their, and she's like, oh, you're part of the religious group of wackos or whatever. Yet they have this Darksaber rule. It's like, okay, well, he's a wacko, but you're all the way up your ass about this thing about the Darksaber. It's like, he wants to hand it to you. And she's like, no. We have to have honorable combat or whatever. He's
rules. Like, I'm just stuck with this sword for some reason. Like, somebody, I don't know what to do with it. And everyone's
he'll be using it as a door jammer. He'll have an uneven like kitchen table, and he doesn't have a kitchen table because he has his hot rod now. But if he did, he used it to like that wobbly leg, hold it up. No luck for him.
He's just like cutting food with it.
Yeah. Oh, let me cut this pizza. There we go. Here you go, Grogu. It's mossy. It's green.
Speaking of the space cruise, I did love them like just kind of falling asleep all cuddled in together going through hyperspace. And then the friggin' space whales. Are you kidding me? Like, Rebels fans, just come on.
That was sick.
That was pretty sick. Yeah, I'll give you that one.
Matt, what about you? Any like character moments, scenes, shots that really kind of stood out as like, this is awesome?
I know I froze again, by the way. It's fine.
You're still there. You're making it.
Yep.
Okay. But actually, I was gonna say the same thing as you with Bo-Katan with the Darksaber. So you took that, but because that was really cool seeing her use that. I would say it was cool seeing Grogu using the Force push on that creature thingy. I don't know what they're called, but I thought that was cool as well. Yeah.
Even flipping out of the ship to see Peli, like, he's way more comfortable with the Force right now. Yeah,
he's like, boop. This is like one of the Three Stooges jumping around.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I love seeing that, and just him being more comfortable and happy in general.
He's in the zone.
Yeah. Zone. Alex, what about you? Any moments?
For me, it was For me, it was
From
when Din jumped down and was hovering his way down, and you got to see the ruins of Mandalore,
that
and
was pretty sweet.
it literally gave me chills, and it made me really sad. Like, it
Yeah.
was just
Yeah.
very dystopian, post-apocalyptic, and thinking of that beautiful Mandalore that we saw in the Clone Wars and just what happened to it.
hmm
And it just made me really sad, but it was so cool. It was just,
Yeah,
it
big time.
literally gave me chills and also like made my heart hurt at the same time.
Yeah. And I do
Right
like how
on.
they address that of like, you would think this has been ruined for a long, long time, but it's been pretty close. All right. Charlie, what about you? Favorite
Well,
character moments?
naturally going so late in it, all the good stuff has been taken. But yeah, I really did enjoy, to Allie's point, talking about Mandalore and just the boy, maybe even just watching so much of Pedro Pascal in The Last of Us, going through a ruined world and thinking about how senseless it all was, even though really in that game it was a fluke, where there was no fluke about what happened here. Their world was completely ravaged and destroyed, and it was ugly, even the bits of it that we saw, obviously what it was before, but then in the flashback sequences from the previous season, just seeing their Great Hall completely just enveloped and destroyed and bombasted from orbit. So we never really, and again, I'm sure it's featured quite heavily in lore of exactly the who, what, when, where, why of when everything on Mandalore was wiped out. I would certainly be interested in learning more about that story, and maybe
Little bits and pieces, but yeah.
there's a portion of that which we'll see throughout this season, because obviously Moff Gideon had something to do with it, hands down. He knows way too much about Mandalorian culture to not have been involved in wiping it out. So
they've said he was on the planet. That's the only way he knew Din Djarin's name, right? It was
right,
like he was
exactly.
there.
Because
through
he's the
records,
guy,
so,
he's from
yeah.
ISB, so they know everything. So yeah, I would have a feeling that potentially a little bit more of the season would be a little bit more geared to, with his re-involvement, have something to do about maybe seeing or feeling a little bit more about the like I said, the who, what, when, where, why of what went down with Mandalore getting the big whack. So yeah, that was absolutely pretty spectacular. I love that. Yeah, that was the big one. I thought, and seeing the hint of the mythosaur, seeing that cool kind of robot scavenging droid, which you never really know why. I mean, was it just a junker? What was it doing down there? It was obviously left behind. But yeah,
Lup Shido of the week.
That reminded me of General Grievous, that cyborg looking thing.
Definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I did love the Morlock characters, because they were just a dead ringer for that. H.G. Wells, which is a classic novel. Then it was a film in the 1950s or 60s. Then of course we got the Guy Pearce version, which was laughably bad in the early 2000s, but I enjoyed it very much. And yeah, the head Morlock dude was Jeremy Irons, and it was pretty sweet. It was what Todd Oxford would call dumb fun.
The Alamites in this one.
The Alamites in this one, exactly. And then so I think it was pretty cool. Love seeing Grogu doing his flips and shit, and he's gonna save Daddy, and yeah, it was pretty great.
Yeah. So Charlie, you kind of brought up a good point of like what are we going to see with the rest of this season? Are we going to see a little bit more of Mandalore? So that's kind of how I want to finish. I want to know, first off, how everyone's feeling about these 2 episodes. I think overall pretty positive, but where do you think the season's heading? What do you think we're going to see next? Are we sticking to Mandalore? Are we going exploring the galaxy? Are we getting more space pirates? Alex, let's start with you this time. How you feeling, and where do you think we're heading?
I don't even know.
She's
I feel
clueless.
like it can
I
go
have
in
many
so
feelings.
many directions. I think we're gonna get a little more of Grogu being a Jedi using the Force, which is gonna be sick. We're gonna get more Bo-Katan, and I think she's gonna find her purpose,
Is
find a new
she
purpose.
gonna get her groove back?
I think so, for sure. I think if this episode heavily hinted at that. I mean,
or maybe getting her swerve on. I don't know. People
she
are
just has
saying
a
they're
reason to
doing the
get off
shipping.
that throne
Yeah,
and not
right.
just like brood on the throne for the next
Right. Like I said,
years.
just off camera, it was all Chinese takeout boxes. There was a pizza over
Yeah,
there. Maybe there was a keg in the corner. They had a little Mando kegging. I don't know. They were having a little too much fun, and she was hungover. That's why she was so pissed. She'd been on a bender, bong on the floor. I don't know. I'm just saying there was probably some crazy shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Definitely. Matt, how you
she's,
feeling?
She's leaving her depression den for sure. Yeah, Matt, how you feeling? Let us
know. Honestly, I think, well, and I hope that we see Bo-Katan train Din with the Darksaber on how to use it.
Please.
Just because she's, she actually has experience with it.
And he sucks.
Yeah. And
do you think she's going to accept that it's his?
If they get married, it's half hers. Oh, hey-o,
you got
space
the Darksaber
lawyers.
and the divorce.
He better get a prenup.
Oh, yeah, because that's what she's going for when the lawyer comes around. Yeah, you're damn right. Vicious Mando lawyer. Ooh, there's your spinoff. Nailed it.
The Mando lawyerin. There we
Mando
go.
Mandalorian.
It's something I don't know. I just have a feeling that this is all gonna connect to Thrawn and like something to do with like the Ahsoka series. Like at the end of it, at least.
Right. Yep.
Right. Smart.
I have a feeling that we're gonna see Sabine towards the end of this season, which I'm super hyped about.
Yes.
I just have that feeling.
It'd be amazing. I wouldn't lose my absolute mind.
This made me think of something, a little theory I've seen going around on the Twitter, and it is that some people absolutely hate this theory with every fiber of their being, and some people are entertaining it, which is typical for Star Wars Twitter. Think that the Armorer is a sibling of Bo-Katan and Satine.
Ooh.
And the parent of Corky, because we have no idea who the hell his parent is, because it's not either one of those two. And I'm entertaining this theory.
Okay.
She's the black sheep.
Mm-hmm.
She's kind of she went off to the Mando convent, and it was part of the kind of ran away from home to be part of the Mando Christian Church of Reformed, which, like I said, is real big here where I live. Woo! So just a real religious whack-a-nuts.
There's got to be a third one, or somebody's lying about Corky's heritage.
Yeah.
Those are the only two options at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Mando mailman.
Yeah. Interesting. I like that. So what do you think we're sticking on Mandalore for much longer, or do you think they're kind of done and we're going to move on to something else?
I hope we get a little more Mandalore. I don't know.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
I think it'll be we may leave, but I don't think it's done. Because I just do, like I said, I'm seeing Moff Gideon come back because I feel like I've heard that. I'm thinking his role is going to be explored. And but again, where do they kind of go from there? Because obviously there's still life on Mandalore, but can it be reclaimed? Will Din step into his own and take his Darksaber and say, we're going back to Mandalore, and they all have to follow him, right? And he's just, but yeah, they really can't follow him when he's basically Kramer from Seinfeld, so he's kind of got to get his act together, and that's where Bo-Katan comes in. So yes, ship them all the live long day. Ship. Get her swerve on.
Yeah,
I did like
crazy.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's crazy because I thought this whole thing of him going to try to redeem himself to be a Mandalorian was gonna be the whole plot for the season, but it already all happened in 2 episodes. So we really don't know what's gonna happen.
And isn't that really what we want? Do we just not?
Yeah, that's true.
Follow some map of and then it's gonna be this and this thing and that thing. Where at least, like you said, in the prior 2 seasons, we knew we had an overarching I have to in the first season I have to save Grogu and get him safe, and in season 2 I have to get him to his people, and then now I have to redeem myself because I had my big Niagara Falls moment holding Grogu when he was touching my face because I took my mask off, and he wants to be redeemed. So yeah, when will perhaps Din step into his own and say, you know what, F you, I'm the queen. There we go. I'm a queen. Here's my hat.
I am the captain now.
I am he's Captain Phillips. Yes, I am the captain now. Awesome. That would be great. I would like to see Din come into his own and kind of shake off the shackles of the CRC stupid religious Church of Mandalore and just be the queen he's supposed to be. Just sing it out proud.
He needs that confidence, and I hope we get some reuniting with Cobb Vanth on that note.
Right.
Yeah,
you're right. Streaming back in some other characters from the prior seasons that ended up in the orbit of Boba Fett, for better or for worse.
Yeah, interesting.
Maybe we'll see Boba too at some point.
Could be. Yeah, he's still doing his thing. He's got a big throne just like Bo Karen does. So big, like 3-assed wide throne, and he's got 1 ass. So he's got a lot of movement.
You got Fennec there too.
And they just dropped like the mention of Peli being like, "Hey, you here to kill Boba Fett?" And that was it. I was expecting something. I mean, he's on Tatooine. Like,
what else are you gonna do? People getting sucked back there.
We'll see. We'll see what happens, I guess. I want to thank both of you for joining us tonight. This has been a blast. Thank you so much. We'll finish off with telling people where they can find you if you want people to find and follow you on the internet. So, Matt, where can people follow you?
It's really simple. It's literally the same for everything. It's just MattReactz with a Z. No S.
With a Z.
Yeah, just make sure you gotta get that part.
Don't try it with yes. That's probably some raging conspiracy theorist nut.
Yeah, it's probably some like gamer or some rager.
Yeah. If any Canadians need a translation, that's a Z. So
yes,
thank you. So you don't get confused. I just want to make sure that's
we ugly Americans and our foolishness. Sorry.
There you go.
But yeah, that's my TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, everything.
Perfect.
YouTube.
Perfect. And YouTube. Excellent. Alex, yourself.
My everything except Instagram. We'll get into that in a second. That's a source of anger for me.
Oh, me and Facebook.
All my socials, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, whatever social media there is to be had, I can be found under AlliGraz,
besides Instagram.
AlliGraz. On Instagram, I am Alex Graziano because AlliGraz was taken by some woman with a Polish last name. I don't know why. Woman. I do not know why she is AlliGraz when her last name ends in like ski. Like, you're not. Where did the Graz come from? Your last name's like Sabinski.
You need to DM her.
Give me my username.
Yeah.
Someday you will have to bathe in the waters of Mandalore / Lake Minnetonka, and you will have your redemption.
Beef with this like 30-year-old married woman who doesn't know I exist. Every few weeks I check. I'm like, is she still have that username?
Every few weeks.
Oh my god, yes. Oh, every other day.
You're like the celebrity who has to put a 1 behind their name because some other jackass got it first. It's
Alex P. Fox.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Well, amazing. Of course, as always, you can find me largely Twitter. I'm trying to get better about it. I've had my break with Facebook. I have to. It's kind of my ex-wife. I have to use it from time to time, so I don't point people there. But I'm largely over on Twitter at the C3. Go ahead and spell it out. My lovely wife April and I do run the USS Grand Petoskey, one of the largest chapters of the Star Trek International Fan Club in the world, based here in West Michigan. I actually also run the region which encompasses Michigan and Eastern Canada, where Mark lives. Whoa. So I'm kind of the Uber. I'm king of the Canadians, the Eastern Canadians anyway. But you can find us on a website of that name if you're a Trekker. You can like Star Trek and you can like Star Wars. Don't let nobody tell you different. If you like Star Trek and you're listening to my voice, hit me up at that address. And I can guide you to doing some of the stuff we do.
There you go. You can find me pretty much everywhere as _Canardian. Not to rub it in, Alex, but I got the Canardian everywhere. So
everywhere.
Except on Hive, actually, where they
Boo.
do underscores. So I just went
Hive.
with Canardian. But Hive's kind of that
it'll
was
give
like
you Hives.
exploding for half a second, and then
I was like when everyone was
tanked.
scared
I never
that
fell for that.
That
Elon
Twitter
Musk was gonna like
Twitter was
shut
gonna
down
die.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
I admittedly
Didn't
haven't
happen.
logged on to Hive for a few weeks. So there we
well.
go. Yeah, that's it.
All right, cool.
Sweet.
Well, friends, thank you as always for joining us. I'm going to tell you that sharing is caring and to keep on trucking.
May the force be with you. Rex, play us out. This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. Visit secretfriendsunite.com for more great shows, articles, news, reviews, and more. Secret Friends Unite podcasts are available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and other podcast services around the world. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, you can join us on Facebook or our new Discord server, or follow @SecretFriendsU on Twitter. Please subscribe to Secret Friends Unite on YouTube and visit our merch store at tpublic.com. Just search Secret Friends Unite. Thanks for listening.